Kuhn is the fullback with the first and goal. Kuhn gets the call. Pyle trying to make his way in for the touchdown. What a great second effort. Here comes the. Y'all don't really want it like that. Here comes the. Here comes the. Here comes the. Y'all don't really want it like that. E-double-L. I said so. I keep big bills up in my heart on the dirty like blood. So ain't got no twist in my head, but I'm still dreadful.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the Fantasy Fullback Dive, brought to you by the good people at the Roto Street Journal, paving your way and acting as your lead blocker to fantasy excellence championships, even starting in mid-February, which may surprise you. I'm your host, Nat the Truth Jones. With me, as always, the Wolf of Roto Street himself, and with me, I think for the third episode in a row, actually. So It's becoming a real staple on this particular show. CJ, Wolf, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I mean, Super Bowl, maybe $1,300 richer. Not a bad day. We'll kind of gloat about it in a second, our Super Bowl 56 recap, but a great way to kick off wrap up the season, to go up as big as I did on that. We'll recap it in a sec. And kicking it off with some 2022 drafts, not wasting literally any time. 4 days. Okay, 4 days between now and the Super Bowl has happened. We are going to be doing our first draft all together. So I'm itching and ready to go. How about you, Truth?
I mean, I'm itching. I love doing the pod with you guys. I really enjoyed the Super Bowl, and I'm a little intrigued to do one of these early drafts. There's just a lot of stuff that's still up in the air right now.
Of course.
I think I don't need to give examples of that. We all know it's true. CJ, how about you? How'd you do on the Super Bowl?
Honestly, I didn't lose anything, but I did fine. I mean, a lot of our bets did well, but Prize Picks didn't do so well. The cup long reception hurt me. That screwed up a lot of things. And then I don't know, I think the highlight of my week now is Matthew Stafford just kind of laughing at that woman that fell and broke her back.
Yeah. If there's one thing that we've all learned is hilarious and will generate a laugh 90% of the time, it's a good fractured spine.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right. And he got a good chuckle out of it. But then he also was like, oh, by the way, we're going to pay all our medical bills.
Yeah, exactly. Too much heat. Just for imagine that he happened to just be looking there at the same exact time, and now he has to pay all of our medical bills. So
right, I know it's true. If he had just been looking a few degrees to the right or left, he'd have saved $100,000 probably. Exactly. But anyway, good game. That was a weird game. There was definitely some really good play and definitely some really bad play. I think we would all agree there was a long stretch of just really bad football. But there was also some really exciting stuff. And we all pretty much got it right as far as the Bengals and the points, right? I mean, CJ, I think CJ said the Rams, and you and I both like the Bengals and the points, right?
Yeah.
Yep. And we all took the unders, if I'm not mistaken, too, which smashed as well. The reason I ended up so big was OBJ first touchdown, plus 900, called that on the show, and Cooper Kupp MVP. All of that one as well. Plus, a couple underdogs hit big. I ended up dabbling in the Yahoo drafts and had the number one lineup. Unfortunately, 600 people also had the same lineup as me, so we all cut 150K 1,000 ways. So we all only made however much, $670 or something like that. But hey, I'll still take it. Still a nice payday indeed. But definitely we had a good one. We predicted T. Higgins going off 24 and a half. That was a 75-yard touchdown that he had there? Beautiful.
Yeah, and he was the leading receiver in the game.
His reception yardage was 66, I think, or 60 and a half.
It was in the mid-60s, and he got 100. I said that I thought both teams would allow a fourth down conversion, and I ended up being correct about that.
Yep.
CJ said slam the under on Cam Akers. That might be the bet where it's if you're right on a bet, you're right. But he was the most right about that of almost anything that anybody said.
Oh, and the over 2.5 guys to throw a pass.
Yeah, that we also said that, which we didn't have in the end. We said that would definitely happen. Yeah. I think the answer was 4 on that, actually.
Yeah.
And then
McPherson, 2 field goals.
McPherson, 2 field goals. That was the one we were all just it was at the top of all of our lists.
That was the bet of the century.
It was the bet of the century. And I want to say a bet that I said on the show and made. I mean, really got unlucky. I said OBJ over 62 and a half yards, something like that. Yeah. I think he had 52 when he got hurt.
Yeah.
That was brutal. I was counting my money. And, happens. but anyway, I feel like we hit a lot more than we missed. I said I liked Burrow and Stafford to have their longest play go over 38.5. Burrow did. Stafford, I think, got 35, something like that. Was frustrating. So I did miss that one. But I feel like we got a lot more right than we got wrong, Any thoughts on the game in general, like, away from the bets and stuff? Like, what were your takeaways? What do you think was amazing? What do you think was, bullshit? Do you see anybody fall on their face? What do you think?
I would say the matchup we predicted would end up deciding the game was the Rams defensive line destroying the Bengals. I mean, they were not
you called that one
close. And it's just like there was no better legitimate picture to epitomize that than that last play of the game. I'm sure you guys have seen at this point where Ramsey's on the ground. Jamar Chase is just wide open, streaking down the field. Would have been a sure touchdown to take the lead. But Burrow's getting nailed. And it's kind of that classic meme everybody was making where it's, Penny Sewell and Burrow throwing. And then, they passed on Penny Sewell and now Jamar Chase and he's getting crushed. And it actually came to life. It hadn't been an issue. I mean, it had been an issue all year, but they obviously made the Super Bowl with it. This was, of course, the turning point of that. And so you really, you imagine the Bengals, they have all those pieces there other than the line at this point. So if they make some big adjustments, they could be right back in the Super Bowl. But if they don't fix that, I don't see them winning anytime soon. That's my thoughts. That's my big takeaway.
One thing on that last play, was there a chance that Pirine could have caught that ball?
Absolutely.
I feel like it was like right at his feet. Like
and
he could have just like ducked.
Why are you dialing up Pirine twice in a row when the game's on the line? What were they thinking?
I know. Big game Pirine. Right.
What are they thinking? Oh,
let's run our backup running back right at Aaron Donald behind our awful offensive line on third down, and then I think that was just a Burrow desperation. I wanted to say some film nerd. It was like going to T Higgins, I guess. But yeah.
Well, a couple thoughts on that last play. First of all, for a really good player, doesn't Jalen Ramsey just seem to be kind of on the ground with somebody like running?
He had a terrible playoffs.
He gave up 160 yards in the Super Bowl. It was the most anybody's ever given up in the Super Bowl. As you guys can see, too, I also just pulled up the draft. We can definitely keep shooting. We're pick 12 tonight. So as we, I know we want to keep the Super Bowl chat going. It kind of grounds where this episode's happening for those of you that might be catching the replay. This is 4 days after the Super Bowl. So a very early draft. We're pick 12, so we have a little time to shoot the shit. But as we go through the draft, we're just going to be highlighting some of our favorite picks, some of our favorite values as we go, just to kind of preview the show again. But yes, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Neff. I just wanted to give you guys the heads up. The draft has officially filled, and we will be starting.
Quite all right. Jalen Ramsey. I mean, do you remember that touchdown Mike Evans caught over him, where it just looked like he practically wasn't even trying? And then, of course, Higgins, he grabbed him by the face mask and threw him down. But, I mean, it just seemed like he was just crumpled on the ground a lot of times this season on a big play. That's the first thing. The second thing, I agree with CJ. That ball was, somehow, impossibly,
I thought he was
just a couple feet away from Pirine.
When he flung around, that was like a little kid on the playground when a guy grabbed your shirt and swings you around. Yeah, and it looked like it I thought he was gonna catch it cleanly. And then after when I saw the replay, I mean, I feel like he didn't even bend down.
He slowed up. He just it was that looks like it would be a lot of effort. And the third thing is when they came at him on that last play, I swear that defense just looked like a bunch of crazy wild dogs. They were just foaming at the mouth, running at him full speed. I think Aaron Donald was probably even a half a yard offside at the beginning.
He might have been, yeah.
Right.
I should have called that.
Still got to him. Anyway, that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, the Bengals need to spend all 7 of their picks on the offensive line.
Yeah.
Probably 2 splashes in free agency.
And I know it's everybody in the world. Oh, wait, is it our pick right now?
Not yet, no. Okay. So far we've got Jonathan Taylor, then McCaffrey, Cooper Kupp, Henry, Jamar Chase, Najee Harris, Jefferson, and Tyreek Hill. So with 8 picks in, we'll be up in 4.
Can I just say Christian McCaffrey as number 2 overall pick is completely bonkers in my opinion.
You make me feel better about my dynasty trade. But...
Well, what do you think?
Go on. Let's hear it. Let's hear it, Truth.
Why do I think it's bonkers?
Yeah, let's hear it. I'm probably going to agree with you, but
how many games out of the 33 regular season games in the last 2 years has this guy played?
7. Is
okay.
That right?
All right. That's the end of my argument. That's it.
Yeah. I know.
I rest my case.
I saw a good tweet. Everybody seems so willing every single year to forgive him for his quote unquote injury proneness, and they highlight everyone else. Now it is our pick. Javonte Williams, Devonte Adams, and Diggs have gone. So we have Eckler and Dalvin Cook both on the board. Debo Samuel as well. I love all of them.
Do we go Eckler? Do we go Eckler Cook? Boom, boom.
I think we go horse here. I can't believe Eckler's there, so I'm going to take him. I have him in my top 5 overall on my big board. And I was going to say, if one or both of you guys don't mind pulling up the big board so we can, I just updated it, or it should have updated today. If it hasn't gone through yet, I'll make sure that goes up after my next pick. But yeah, I have Dalvin Cook and Austin Eckler both inside my top 6. So to get them here at the end of the first round, I would absolutely love. So I'm going to rip on that for just a couple seconds in the sense that last year, the winning and the second place team in the best ball tournaments, the big one they did, Best Ball Mania, both of them went running back first to start it. So they locked up 2 elite horses at the position and then loaded up on receivers through the mid rounds. So that's typically, seems to be the best strategy. I know it's only 2 out of thousands and thousands of teams and not every single team in the top 10 did that. But the fact that 2 out of the top 10 did the 2, it means something. So yeah, I love going running back. I've always done that anyways, but just for the data to back it up too. So I'm all about it.
That gets me, I think drafting at this point in the season, obviously, I know this is not counting for anything, whatever, but I think it's obviously crazy. And yet getting 2 horses at the turn gets me a little bit excited, even though it's even on a team that's not mine and doesn't mean anything.
Well, what about, what do you say, Jamar Chase went 5? That's kind of bananas to me.
That's totally
it actually is bananas. It's not kind of
bananas.
It's real bananas.
I haven't been on Twitter in a while. I take a little hiatus, a little break. Sometimes you just need to clear the mind of all the craziness going on there. But I was going to say, and I know I'm going to get shit on if I tweet it, I think Jamar Chase might be the most overvalued pick in all of fantasy, especially these early rounds, going as the number 2 receiver. It's crazy to me. Yes, he's obviously an insane talent. There's no denying that. In the playoff run he has, I think is a sign of things to come. Like I do think he's going to continue emerging as this type of alpha. But there was times where a solid stretch. I saw this when I was bets with T. Higgins. T. Higgins had a solid 8-week stretch where he was better in fantasy than Jamar Chase. He's not just going to disappear. From week 8 to week 13, Jamar Chase was outside the top 36 receivers. So that level of just inconsistency. Yes, he had the 55-point day, 34, 27, 20. He has these monster blowups. We get that in best ball. Of course, that helps. But he had plenty of games where he was not in the top 36. In fact, 60% of his games, he was outside the top 36 receivers. So yeah, do I think he's going to be insane? Of course I do. But I also want to recognize the guys he's going over is just absolutely bonkers to me. Ahead of, Debo Samuel, and I guess that one's a little debatable because Samuel, had such a career year, but Devonte Adams, especially, we don't know what Rodgers is going to be doing, but Tyreek Hill, ahead of Tyreek Hill, we know Kelsey's, and Mahomes is back. So yeah, I'm with you. I know that's just crazy. I wanted to highlight that one. I was ready for someone to bring that up, obviously, but yeah, you guys are all in agreement. Chase there is just nuts.
Yeah.
T. Higgins just went off the board. I was going to say if he's there with our pick, we should grab him. But he just got snagged.
Yeah. So where do I have? I don't know if either of you guys. I
got it. I got the big board up. What do you
I don't think does it say 126? Because I thought I updated it today. It might not have gone through. So I'm
126 is your last update.
Okay, so I'm gonna re-update it. I'm gonna try to make sure it saves this time. That would be helpful. Because what I did is I added rookies, and that's why CJ, I'm pumped you could join us tonight because you know a whole lot more about this rookie class than I do, and I obviously landing spot's going to play a significant role into what value these guys have, but usually the best of the talents, as we've seen throughout these last couple of years, can rise. We hated on AJ Brown in his landing spot, and he's ended up panning out more than okay. But then also Marquise Brown, we hated his landing spot, and he's been So obviously the landing spots will change how we value these guys. But overall, we got to potentially factor these guys in because there's some value holes. We like to talk about those value holes at running back.
We love
the
them.
Cardinals. No James Conner, no Chase Edmonds as of right now. They're both free agents. James Conner was a top 5 running back. You get a Breece Hall, Isaiah Spiller, one of those top 2 or 3 running backs that go there. They'll be going in the first rounds of drafts. So that's also something we'll talk about here as it gets towards our pick here. 8 picks away, it looks like. is when we're doing these drafts so early, we want to try to be getting the guys that are going to leap like 30 spots in value. So this is the time to take these risks on free agents, on guys who have free agents departing that might not be replaced. So we'll kind of look at that as we go. We'll talk about some of these things. Oh, it looks like it is our pick. That came fast. I thought it was 8 picks away.
You're just showing everybody like all this code and stuff. All right.
I like going to Deontay Johnson here. I think it's going to be a QB upgrade. Again. So we got Johnson, Waller, Kittle, DJ Moore, Ridley, Mike Evans,
Deontay Johnson's definitely.
You got to take Deontay Johnson. You can't take Ridley.
No. For receivers, we got Cooper, Lockett. I kind of like Lockett. I like Evans. But you look here, you also have Jones, Zeke.
I know. I was looking at Jones. I was looking at Eli Mitchell. I don't know, man.
I know how ugly like Zeke seems, but receivers.
I know he's only going to last a game.
Well, we got 9 seconds. We got to go, boys. I say Zeke. You guys hate it?
Okay. I don't love it, but we got 9 seconds. We don't want the computer drafting for us.
Oh, well, it gave us Waller. So fine.
Oh, no.
You know
Josh McDaniels.
We all just learned an important lesson. If you're listening on the pod, you snooze, you lose. You got to pull the trigger.
Don't do code during your
right.
draft.
You know, as entertaining as that was for the people viewing live to see all that code up there.
Oh, does it show like all the different tabs? It doesn't just stick to
We all saw the whatever the hell you were doing.
Oh Jesus! I was trying to get the big board.
That's rookie
live
stuff.
And updated for everybody. So hold on, I'm gonna remove this and
want to remove the Super Bowl recap at the bottom too.
As draft loads in parentheses.
Oh God, a little disorganized here on the stream.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking of doing a nice Instagram clip on that Jamar Chase rant, and then it was like Super Bowl recap. Actually, I guess you
can kind of have that in there still.
Play in the Super Bowl.
Still think that's actually a pretty good clip.
I'm gonna
tell you. So, I'm a big proponent of auction drafts as opposed to snake drafts. I mean, obviously, snake drafts fun too. I think it's like playing checkers instead of chess, personally. But in auction draft specifically, I look at somebody like Cooper Kupp. His price is just going to be through the roof this year, right? I mean, he's not that. You wouldn't touch him for that, right? I love Cooper Kupp. I had him. I got him for I think $18 or $19 last year. But I'm not touching the guy for 70 or 65.
Yeah.
What do you think? I mean, I know you're an upside guy, Wolf. I know you chase the stars.
I mean,
you still have him. As I say, you still have him at 2. I don't know if I like that. I don't know who would be my number 2, but when I saw that, I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, he's still the last update should be saved at this point. So hopefully the big board is updated. We can keep chatting it through. Sorry again, people.
I'll check it out. CJ in a vacuum, Kupp or Henry.
I prefer running back, so I'd probably.
It updated, Wolf.
Okay, perfect. So that's going to be
my latest. Eckler, Cook, our 2 picks, and 4-6.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I love our start. I don't know that I love the Darren Waller pick. Where do I have Waller on the big board?
I don't like that at all. Darren Waller, I'm still going down. Going down.
I'm going to update him.
This is a disaster.
I know.
Let's have to do another draft after this.
Yeah, should I just jump in another one? Just screw this draft already?
I don't know if we should do another one live.
Eckler and Cook. Now, I do think, though, CJ, and I am going to bump Eckler up. I obviously, what number do I have in that?
Darren Waller is number 69 on your big board.
Yeah, so
we just burned our corner pick on him. That's just, that's inexcusable. Zeke, meanwhile, sitting at 27 would have been a much better pick.
Yeah, there is obvious. I am going to be bumping Waller up.
Yeah, you have Waller behind Pitts, actually.
Yeah, I'm going to be bumping him up. As you mentioned, CJ, the McDaniels, we've seen him obviously we've had some years as Patriots fans with just no tight end presence at all. But also we've seen Gronk. And Waller is, McDaniels does make the most of the talent he's usually presented with. I could see Waller having himself a huge season. It does save us from having to worry about tight end later too. I just don't love it where we got it. So, I wish we had gotten like a Zeke, but you look here, like Jones, I think some of the best, I know this podcast is about value. So let's talk about some of these earlier round values. So like the first 4 rounds, 1, I've gotten Dalvin Cook now in 80% of drafts. I think I don't know what people are worried about. He was going number 2 unanimously last year. Every game he was out there had great numbers. You can get Alexander Madison round 11, 12. And now that the drafts give you up to 20 picks, I think getting both of those guys. So we got to be targeting Madison and just locking up the backfield. Yes, it's a new offensive coordinator, new play caller. We have our draft pick here, so we'll make this. I really actually like Michael Thomas. I know that sounds insane because we don't know who the quarterback is. They just got like a new head coach, Dennis Allen, who's not an offensive play caller, but it seems like things have smoothed over as the latest reports there. Last time he played a full season, he set NFL records. Am I nuts? Should I not go Mike Wallace? Mike Thomas.
Is he nuts, CJ?
He might be a little nuts.
I think he's
but I was just looking at the board, though. I'm not seeing much else. I mean,
but the good news is if time runs out, he's going to be the guy that automatically gets drafted.
We went him.
Wolf's playing the rope-a-dope here.
And I'll highlight another receiver I like.
Renfro,
that's who I was just looking at.
But we don't want to. Do we want too many Raiders here?
Are we just going to be like just stack McDaniel's offense?
I think we stack up. Yeah, so we got to get Derek Carr later. That's how these teams win, is stacks, honestly.
Gabriel.
You look at
Gabe Davis.
I love Gabe Davis.
So what I'm going to do is start queuing up guys that we like here. The talk of the show was supposed to be values. So we mentioned Dalvin Cook.
So much for that.
Everybody's worried about this new offense, but Kevin O'Connell, you look at the Rams, like they have had great success. He comes from the Todd Gurley days of Sean McVay, when Todd Gurley was the number 1 player in fantasy for multiple years. It is that zone running scheme. They're already used to it. I mean, the Eckler pick, I just don't even understand how the hell he fell to 12. That's just mind-boggling to me. My number 4, as you said, Truth. So both of those guys, especially Cook, is the one I keep seeing fall. I couldn't believe that. Love those guys as early values. Let's look at like the board, and you guys can kind of highlight any picks you like too from the early rounds. I'm just going to try to make it. I don't know if I can make it.
I'll tell you what, they go DK last pick in the second round. That seems a little generous at this point.
So we can talk about some overprices too, and I agree. DK definitely.
I love it, but I mean, come on.
Right. I think Debo at 15 is a nice value. I
wouldn't have minded you. If you took him at 13, that would have been fine.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, those 2 running backs were too tough for me to pass up. I think those are great values. I mean, Nick Chubb at pick 20, that seems like a decent value. Where do I have Chubb on the big board, Truth?
I will tell you.
Probably right around 20, right?
I think 20 is what I recall. It's actually 16.
Yeah, so a few spots, a good value there. What do you guys make of Jalen Waddle here at 23?
I love him so much.
I do too, but is 23 not a little early in your opinion?
Yeah,
it's early in my opinion.
I don't know, but did you see the video of Mike McDaniel, like how horny he got when he brought up Jalen Waddle?
Okay, but let's look at the guys. Let's look at the guys taken directly after Jalen Waddle. All right, in a vacuum. Wolf, Waddle or Metcalf?
I'd rather have Waddle than Metcalf, actually.
Okay. Waddle or DeAndre Hopkins?
That's close for me.
Probably Waddle.
Probably still Waddle, though.
I feel like Hopkins might be done.
Well, I want us to look at it objectively since he seems high to us, but let's compare him to who's going next. What about Waddle or T. Higgins?
So I would say Waddle over them. The one that stands out to me as a really good value is Keenan Allen. Mid-third round here, Keenan Allen, I'd have him above Waddle. Mike Williams is a free agent. Probably, I bet you like some stupid team like the Giants overpays for him. Just
sure. That's a great call.
Oh, and
he'll be on the Giants.
He'll play like 7 games next year, maybe.
Guaranteed, right? 7 games for the Giants.
And in one of those games, he's going to get like 160 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Him and Galladay in one game are both going to combine for like 250 or something.
What about David Montgomery or Waddle?
So I prefer probably Montgomery, but he seems like a big touchdown regression candidate and doesn't like. I thought Khalil Herbert looked like as good for multiple parts of the season than David Montgomery did. Like, who knows what this new coach is going to do? I guess it seemed it just struck me Waddle here, but the more you're doing this, right. I know why you're doing it. It's like, okay, maybe it wasn't that big of an overpay.
And also let's keep in mind in this draft, Josh Allen got taken mid-second round before Waddle. So I mean, really, and we don't agree with reaching for quarterbacks. So you could maybe even make a case that Waddle went a little bit too low.
It's already back to our pick too.
Oh Jesus. What Raiders are on the board?
I would have liked Knox here if we.
Yeah, no kidding.
I would have too, but we already have a tight end.
Garrett Wilson.
I think we go with one of these running backs, Clyde, Connor, or Kenneth Walker, the top rookie. Toss a name out. We'll go one of them.
Not Clyde.
I know. I hate Clyde.
Let's go. Yeah, let's go upside. Touchdown upside with Connor.
Connor. Yeah. Let's hope he goes back. And now we have another pick here. Do we go after this Garrett Wilson kid, CJ? Is he worth it?
I love Garrett Wilson, but
I'm completely deferring to CJ on this. I have no idea.
I like getting the receiver here, and I like him more than
I prefer him over Babe.
What's the best receiver on the board except for
Robinson,
him?
Beckham, not anymore with the ACL tear. Yeah, we're gonna go Wilson and hope
let's go Garrett Wilson.
He's pro ready, as you were saying, CJ, the best route runner of this
class.
The
best route runner in the class, yeah. He's right away. He's gonna be a day one starter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gets drafted by the Raiders, I'm sure. So now we have more Raiders.
No, that is Jameson Williams right now.
This is the type of thing that this is something I'm always reminded of. Oh, we got Renfro too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's all right. Okay.
It's
the type of thing. The Waller pick, even though this means nothing, the Waller pick's just going to be like a rock in my shoe for the rest of the night.
It is how it goes.
It really, really bothers me.
Hey, until next Thursday's draft.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, we're gonna fans, we're gonna be running this back. I mean,
we should just keep doing this like every Thursday.
We should do this every week
the plan.
until the season, until we're like such a finely oiled 3-man drafting team that like nobody's gonna be able to stop us.
We are into the mid rounds, but just to highlight, like too, as we're talking about some of the values. I mean, again, Waddle seemed like an overpriced, but as you said, Truth, the more you were stacking them up to the players going after him, the more I was like, okay, I get it. I do think some of these, like Aaron Jones and Zeke going late fourth, that seems bonkers to me. Like,
well,
Zeke
we were ready to snap up one of them with the first pick in the fourth or late.
That's what I'm saying. Like
third, right?
And maybe we should have gone Dobbins there.
Who went between where we picked Waller and where those guys started to go? What guys went in between there? Because I'm surprised they lasted that long too.
Dobbins, Kittle, Ridley, Herbert, Evans, Lockett, Cooper, Aaron Jones, Etienne, and Zeke. So to me, the standouts there are Aaron Jones and Zeke. And I get they're like kind of ugly. Like Zeke just was horrible and Pollard was better most of the year. But this guy also finished, he's running back 6 with a torn MCL for most of the season. Like, that offense scored the most points in the NFL. If Zeke comes back healthy, ready to go, they still have a couple years on his contract. They're still going to be riding him into the ground. So I think Zeke is maybe the single best value in fantasy right now, going the end of the 4th round. Like it's all unsexy, but unsexy upside. Think about like Fournette, James Conner last year, right? Like I know those guys were going even later than the late 4th, but that's because they were unsexy picks that ended up just being in a perfect situation. To me, Zeke's going earlier than them, but it reminds me a lot. Like if Zeke's running back 5, running back 6 last year again, running back 5 this year, and you get him at the end of the 4th, like I don't think that's shocking at all. Is my take insane? Like, what do you guys think?
No, I like that a lot.
No, it's not insane. I'd have to look at everything a little closer.
Do you think in a regular non-best ball draft that Zeke would ever last to the 4th round?
Probably not, but like it's not that different. The best picks are still the best picks. Like I think people overthink like best ball, you got to get this XYZ, this type of team construction. Like stacking's important, yes. There are some strategies you have to do in best ball to just really separate, but the best picks are still the best picks. And is Zeke the next Gurley? Maybe he does hit that cliff. Like he could be. Aaron Jones though too. He's younger. He's fresher. Well, Dylan looks good, but Aaron Jones is going to have plenty of 25, 30-point days.
Is Tony Pollard still on the board?
Tony Pollard probably is still on the board. Yeah. Oh, no, he's gone here.
Where did Devonte Adams go?
Adams went
he went first round.
right before us. Yeah, pick 11 right here.
Let me tell you something. The fact that Calvin Ridley got picked 15 spots before Eli Mitchell is just utterly disrespectful, in my opinion.
I think so. I was just going to say, Truth. Eli Mitchell. I know you're an Eli Mitchell guy. You think that's an insane value here at 57?
Yes. Don't you?
Do. Yeah, absolutely.
Don't you? I mean, I'm just like I'm way more blown away by that than I am by the running backs that we were able to get 12, 13. Just as far as the number of spots after where I think they probably. I mean, I peg Eli Mitchell for like a 26 to 32 range, something like that. I think the guy's really great. I really do.
100%.
Where's our guy Raheem Moser? Is he going to be a free agent this year? I don't even know.
No, he's not a free agent. He's still under contract this year with the team. That's the one, and not Mostert necessarily. The one rub with Mitchell is a different running back has been the number 1 scorer for the 49ers for 5 straight seasons. So there is this like history, but it does seem like the way that Shanahan rode him when he was healthy, like 21 plus touches in I think 10 of 16 games.
Oh, and it was like the second he stepped back onto the field, it was just like, here's another 20 touches.
Right.
And there's the usage and there's just the eye test. You've seen this guy, right? Doesn't he just look electric when he
100%?
And he's strong
He
as
dominated the playoffs. He was unbelievable.
He had 5 catches in the last game too, so the guy can catch as well. I absolutely agree. Like Mitchell's one of those guys. I think people are worried he might not be the starter or be back.
That would be dumb.
What
would they have to get for him to not be the starter?
And outside of Mostert, those like Hasty and all those other garbage running Jeff Wilson, they all sucked.
They all suck. And
Mostert
will go down if he even comes back, right? So yeah, I'm with you. I think Mitchell 57 might be. I was saying Zeke's the value of the draft. I have Mitchell 2 spots below Zeke, and he also went 11 picks later. So I love this Mitchell pick. And again, we're talking about guys that we could see jumping 30 plus spots.
I think we're on deck, by the way.
Are we on deck? Okay.
Who's on the board?
Yep, we are there on deck. We'll highlight some more values in a second, folks. I mean, Patterson falling this far. I've been getting him in every draft. I know another rookie, Olave. He's an OSU boy too, right, CJ?
Both Ohio State boys.
We could go with both the guys.
I wouldn't want to double. I'm really interested where Kirk's going to go in the offseason.
I'm gonna go Patterson here.
I think I would definitely go Patterson with the first pick.
I have him about 50 spots higher than this, so I have him in 100% of drafts so far too of these early best ball.
Okay.
So we'll talk about him in one of the best values. I would have liked Fry here, but again,
scroll down. Oh, we're set on tight end. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, which is actually a comforting feeling. I don't hate Ramondre, but TJ, I'm gonna go double 2 rookies. And just take the stabs at it this early. Like either of those guys now end up as a true. Look at the way we've seen in back-to-back years from Chase to every single season for like 3 straight years. We've had
Waddle.
a top 10 rookie in the top 10 fantasy receivers. So,
I think Waddle finished like wide receiver 12 or something too.
Right. So any of these guys
with lousy quarterbacks thrown to
with
them.
lousy quarterbacks. So even landing spot, as long as they landed an open depth chart or somewhere where at least there's going to be volume up for grabs. I imagine one of those two end up being steals. So
I think you're right.
Again, talk about
Olave
30 spots leaping.
Olave is definitely like a blow up best ball type of guy where he was always like their deep burner. So
yeah, I was gonna say. So give me the details because you're obviously a big OSU guy. What can you tell me about Garen Wilson and Olave?
Wilson is like as you talked earlier, like the NFL ready, the best route runner in the class. Who's just like he's so smooth. I've seen some people on Twitter be like, "Oh, his tape's boring," because he's always open by like 5 yards on every play because he just breaks ankles. The corner will be like 5 yards away from him. They'll be like, "Oh, he's so boring. He doesn't like make contested catches." But he doesn't have to.
Hey, speaking of guys who are always open, and we were talking about the Super Bowl a little bit. What do you think of that play near the end? I mean, obviously they were just throwing to Cup every single play at the end. Not they. Matt Stafford was throwing to Cup every single play. Think of that play in the end zone, offsetting penalties, where the guy got speared like right in the helmet, still caught the ball, was clearly concussed, and then went back to him like 2 or out of the next 3 plays, caught another touchdown. That was such a whip it out type thing. I mean, that was just so
that last drive, but that Stafford throw, I think I've watched it 25,000 times. When the no look,
God.
Middle of the field, complete psycho play.
They said this on the broadcast, so this is not like a super hot take by me. It's like he's almost robotic in the fact that he always looks the other direction first. Like he's just like, I'm going to throw left, so I'm just going to look right for about a second and a half, and then I'm going to throw left. And once they said that, I started paying attention to it, and it's true. He does it like every single play.
Yeah, the camera view like from the end zone was incredible. He completely wasn't. I think he looked a couple once the entire thing.
Right. Yeah. And yet the ball ended up there every single time. What do you guys think about OBJ going first pick 9th round here? Is that a commentary on injury? You have to think. His stock would have been quite a bit higher than that. But, I mean, do we know anything about the extent of that injury? It looked pretty serious to me.
Yeah, it was an ACL.
Torn ACL.
Oh, it was? Oh.
Yeah.
His second.
Yeah, I would have. So now where we went Garrett Wilson, I would have 100% locked in OBJ had he not torn his ACL the way
he wouldn't have lasted. He'd have been gone before that, I'm positive.
He might have been, yeah. We'll comment on some of our picks, too. But, CJ, bring it back to Garrett Wilson, too. The way you talk about that, I just love when people are like, oh, he doesn't make contested catches. That means he's so open he doesn't have to. Like, I hate the people like, this guy has the best contested ball rate in college football. You couldn't separate from college corners. That's a concern for me.
like Nikhil Harry had a great contested catch rate.
Yes.
That's
He's a perfect example of it, right?
Yeah. And I mean, he has. There's plays like there's like this picture of when he's a true freshman against Clemson in the Fiesta Bowl, and he is like 18 years old, and he has to be like 50 inches off the ground making a catch. And
incredible.
Olave is like their deep ball player. He's gonna probably run like low fours, I'm guessing, and he's so consistent too. They're just great players.
Yeah.
Did you think that Harbaugh? Did you think Harbaugh was going to go to the pros, CJ? Or did you think
I did? And then it's hilarious that Michigan just extended him. He was like, hey, fuck you guys. I've like maxed out my time here. I'm going to go to the Vikings. And they're like, oh, we're going to choose this like old backup quarterback for our new head coach.
I just feel like he beat Ohio State like one time. It wouldn't surprise me if he goes 10 years before he beats him again.
Exactly. And then Michigan's like, oh,
all right, boys. We're on the clock here. Okay. For the first pick, I'll let it pick down so we have a little time to talk strategy. I am going to take Carr. Quarterbacks have gone at an
Who else is there, though? What other quarterbacks are there? I just want to see who else is there.
Tua, Mac Jones, Zach
we're
Wilson.
taking Derek Carr. We're taking Carr. We love that Waller Renfro stack.
We need the stack anyways, right? So we're going to go Carr. Okay. Do we double down? And also, I do actually kind of like Tua in this new offense. We don't have to go 2 QBs, but it wouldn't hurt because we're probably not going to get another one even halfway decent, and Carr's not that great. So we can either go him or we could go this intriguing rookie, Kyron Williams. The rest of these picks
I'd go Carr and the intriguing rookie personally.
Okay. CJ, you like Kyron, the Notre Dame back?
I mean, I don't really care about any of these running backs this year. I like Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker, and that's better. But
shit, why not? We already have him. We're fucked. We're already with him.
We're taking him. He was just asking as a courtesy. He's already on the team. We've signed him to like a 4-year deal.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not crazy about any of these guys. Locked into.
Look at Julio down there. Remember how everybody was like, "Man, Julio could be a difference maker."
Julio down with the Russell Gages.
Down there with Laviska Shenault, another difference maker.
Yeah,
so many difference makers.
See, I think I like Van Jefferson to blow up this year.
I like Van of this list. I like Van.
Especially
you guys should have said something sooner. But let's go. So now that we do have a little time between the picks, rather than Nat talking about random shit from the Super Bowl, let's talk about
I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. It's time to fucking
trying to keep the conversation moving here.
Of course.
Just trying to do my job.
No, I'm fucking with you. Let's talk about some of our favorite values though too. So we talked about some like early mid rounders and like Aaron Jones and Zeke. I think both of those guys, even if they're at their floor, obviously Eli Mitchell you highlighted. I think that was a great name to toss out there. In terms of receivers, we already took Renfro and I think we all loved him. We all agreed. I mean, this guy was top 7 down the stretch. So the second half of the year, once he finally started getting used, had like 30-point days, had a 15-point floor, and now he gets Josh McDaniels for 10 straight years. Whether it was Edelman, whether it was Welker, their receiver in points per game was top 10 in fantasy. So I love Hunter Renfro, what he could do in the slot under McDaniels. He is every bit as shifty and gets open and even more like a red zone presence, it seems, over these last couple of years with that rapport with Derek Carr. I think Renfro was an absolute steal, even if they draft a rookie high, even if they go for a big, maybe they do reunite Carr and Devonte Adams and then Renfro does take a decent hit. But unless that's what happens,
nope.
I love Renfro. I think he's a huge steal. Did you guys agree with that?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I'd have rather taken him than Waller, who we got 2 rounds before that.
Yeah. Honestly, I have him on higher on the big board. So again, Waller is a pain in the ass, but as you can see, like tight end really does suck too. And I am going to be bumping Waller up with the McDaniels. Potentially he becomes the next Gronk. Yeah, that pick sucked. Maybe Kittle there instead would have been nicer. But in terms of values too, I thought, Connor here, yes, he's a free agent. If he goes back to the Cardinals and they don't really go big at running back anywhere else, he was the running back 4 this year. And we just got him at pick 84. That's the type of value. Like if he signs with the Cardinals and by mid-season and they don't draft anybody in May, he'll be going pick 23, right? So, we just got a huge deal there. And Patterson as well. That's another pick I wanted to highlight. So I know we're talking about our own team a lot here, and we'll look at some other picks that you guys might like.
Yeah,
or
we're just jerking ourselves off here.
Matt, you know as well as I do, Patterson was a stud for at least half the year for you, right?
Absolutely. No, I loved the pick. This is one of the picks we've made where it was an obvious one when I saw him on the top of the list.
Yeah.
Here's a guy that I don't know if he's been taken or not because I can't see the board, but is Jerick McKinnon still on the board?
I love McKinnon late.
Speaking of Redo Street Journal guys,
he went literally. That's funny you said that. He literally went as you said his name. Derek McKinnon.
It occurred to me. I was like, when we had the opportunity to take Clyde, and CJ and I were both like, don't take Clyde.
No,
and it's part. I mean, it's like I think McKinnon's better, just like I thought Daryl Williams was better than him most of the year.
And Daryl Williams is a free agent, so what if like it is just Clyde and McKinnon? I think McKinnon's one of.
I think McKinnon probably. Well, I mean, it's hard to get too confident. Oh, we're on the. We're clock, about to be out. So I'll finish that thought later.
Alrighty, so we got to mix. We'll be now that we know how the drafts flow. I actually really love Cedric Wilson. With we got
he's a stud.
Gallup, a free agent, and when he's the starter as a third receiver, he's crushed it. So I'm going to go Cedric. I'm just going to make the executive call here.
Okay,
to go Cedric. I absolutely
honestly, I feel. I don't know if I want to draft him, but I feel the same way about KJ Osborne too. He's going to dip a little bit with Thielen back.
I get what you're saying though. Thielen will be back, but Thielen's been getting dinged up. I like Osborne. I also don't hate going Zach Wilson when we only have Carr here.
I hate it.
You hate Zach Wilson, so maybe we go Osborne then. All right, we'll go Osborne because I do like Osborne as well.
It's like what's it going to cost us to just end up bottom of the barrel quarterbacks? It's like, at what point are you going to be like, we could have had Zach Wilson, the quarterback of the New York Jets?
Because we want someone.
I'd take a shot on Jameis.
Oh, yeah. I'd way rather Jameis than Zach Wilson.
And I know, CJ, you mentioned Malik Willis is like a kind of a rushing quarterback.
He reminds me of Hurts. I think he sucks in real life, but I don't know. He had like a really good Senior Bowl that like draft Twitter was like jerking themselves off about.
I mean, big game Matt Ryan still on the board.
He played at Liberty, so he didn't play anyone, and then I don't know. I'm not a fan of him. I don't like quarterbacks that can't throw the ball.
Yeah.
No, man, I also don't like quarterbacks that can't throw the ball.
I think one takeaway for me is we always preach about waiting on quarterback, and it typically works well in these best ball drafts. So you can see quarterbacks Burrow 50, Lamar Jackson 49. I have those guys at like 70 in the 70 to 90 range, right? So like I typically wait. Trey Lance 64. Like, come on. I think it makes sense though to get
Trey Lance 64.
Yeah, insane. There is that tier of like, for me on my big board, I'm trying to think of who exactly it is. I believe it's like Russell Wilson. Trey Lance is in that tier. I'm going to pull up my big board real quick.
They got Jalen Hurts going 104. Now, Jalen Hurts, I agree with CJ. He can't throw, but I mean, the guy has established he can score fantasy points.
Jalen Hurts went 104? That's an insane
and I know, and Trey Lance went 64.
Yeah.
That's my point. It's like Trey Lance is like Jalen Hurts, except he's never proven that he could do anything.
I think that's a huge name to toss out there as one of the best values. Jalen Hurts is probably one of my favorite picks of the draft right now. I think people are assuming maybe they traded for Watson or Jalen Hurts gets moved somehow. And if he does, maybe he'll take a hit. But either way, the way he runs, he was a top 12 quarterback more than anybody last year, more than any other quarterback in the NFL. He was a top 12 quarterback. I think that's a great value. And that's kind of the tier, like whether it's Wilson, Jalen Hurts, Rodgers, I would not put Fields in that tier. No. Watson, if he's playing, is obviously a tier above that. So I don't mind the Watson pick. But I think Hurts, that's kind of where I want to get my quarterback in future drafts. Like that's the cutoff for me. So, looking back, probably should have gone Hurts or a quarterback where we went Garrett Wilson, whether that was Russell Wilson, whether that was Jalen Hurts, Stafford was there, that they could have all been. It just quarterbacks have gone really fast. I'm not comfortable with Carr as our QB1, even though we have, Waller and all those guys. And McDaniels apparently does love him. Like he wants to sign him to an extension.
Right, but would you be feeling better? Would you be feeling better right now with Zach Wilson in your back pocket as a backup?
Honestly, what if the guy does take off? I don't know. He can run a bit. He can throw.
What do you think is more likely? Jameis putting up big numbers or Zach Wilson just taking off like this?
Well, yeah, and we're going to be going after Jameis despite the injury.
We're going after Jameis.
We're going after Jameis.
I love the 64-65.
He's gonna be starting somewhere, whether it's New Orleans, whether it's Tampa.
Sure. I love the 64-65 pick on the board where they went Trey Lance, Mike Williams.
Call me nuts here.
Okay.
I don't hate getting Gronk. In the off chance he does play, he's been already lobbying to go to Cincinnati and play with Burrow.
Really?
Him and Tom have turned into such like LeBron.
They're such
whores.
I
I
love
can't
it.
stand them. I hate it so much.
So my
That's what
play
we don't
here.
stand for.
All right, we are up, so we got to make our pick.
They are like LeBron.
What I'm thinking is I don't hate going Jameis. We could potentially go Jameis and Malik and just lock up 3 QBs and hope at any given week one of them is killing it.
I don't know
we
if
could
he's
go
gonna
Gronk.
start though. He's kind of a project. I don't know.
I also like Sterling Shepard. I think he's one of the best values this late. I have him.
You have to pick now.
Go Jameis and then Shepard.
You guys like Shepard? What are your thoughts? We have 30 seconds on Shepard, so we have time to decide. Do we go Malik and get a third QB here, or do we go Shepard
I'd kind of go. I think Shepard
or Gronk? Yeah. All right.
I think Gronk will still be there in 2 rounds, though, Wolf.
No,
Yeah,
he's right
if
here at
you-
pick 5. He'll be gone.
He's not on a team, though.
All
Well,
right.
I guess he's on Tampa, technically.
We'll go Shep.
Shepard will have like 4 sick games that will maybe win us some weeks.
Right.
Yeah.
He's got to be in the unsexy Hall of Fame, right?
Unsexy. I mean, this year was obviously a disaster for him and pretty much all the Giants, but dating back to, I tweeted this stat out millions of times, and then he just never got himself healthy, so it ended up being useless. But there was a while where he had like 8 straight games in the top 15 receivers and 8 catches, just a steady peppering. And now you get Brian Dable there, and obviously a better offensive mind than they've had since Jason Garrett was fucking there. So I could see all the Giants being intriguing picks, especially Shepard. And there's, obviously Tony, more exciting, more electrifying, but Shepard's been just nice and steady for years. Let's just try to, so we already talked about some of our favorite picks.
Okay.
And to kind of like recap a few of them in the middle rounds, we loved, again, Zeke, Aaron Jones to start off those middle rounds. Eli Mitchell at 57, a complete and utter steal. We love Renfro. I really like Brandon Cooks, a top 12 receiver, top 15 receiver by the end of the year because he got hurt towards the end. But much of the season was top 12, and that was with utter complete garbage, whether it was Davis Mills or Tyrod Taylor thrown to him. If Davis Mills is the worst case, he gave him 35% of the targets. So that's your worst case. Best case is they upgrade and get someone actually decent there. I think Cooks and Gabriel Davis here.
I was going to say, am I crazy to think Gabe Davis at 68 was a great pick?
I think both of those are absolutely.
But I feel like by the time we get to July, that Gabe Davis is going to be so overpriced. And that's going to be the guy that like people are taking in like the 4th round.
Of course.
I think you're right.
About right now, though, CJ, who in these early drafts? I think both those receivers, Cooks, Davis, and also Renfro, one of my favorite mid-round receivers. Any pushback on any of those guys?
No, I actually agree with you on all of them, believe it or not.
You know who's tricky to me is because I love him is Amon-Ra St. Brown, the number 1 scoring receiver in the fantasy playoffs. But like they're bound to draft 2 to 3 receivers, maybe sign a big name. I don't know about him at 52. I feel like that's like the highest his value's ever.
What big name would go to the Giants? I mean, the Lions.
If you throw enough money at Godwin, Adams, you throw enough money, you never know who could show up there.
Adams is not going. I don't care. Adams is not going to the Lions.
Maybe not. You love
Godwin all coming off an injury. Maybe no.
I could see like Christian Kirk going there.
Yeah, that's the type of name. CJ, I agree. That's the type of name we're talking about.
Christian Kirk.
Either somebody coming off a horrific injury or someone like Christian Kirk.
I think Godwin's is going there. We'll see. I do want to highlight
coming off a bad injury.
I have Singletary and Harris both inside my top 60. They both went 76 and 79, respectively. Singletary seems like a risk to maybe lose his job to a Spiller, a Breece Hall, a Kenneth Walker. Maybe they do draft a running back early, but if not, number 2 running back down the stretch behind only 91 here, Rashad Penny, a free agent. But should he go back to Seattle, somehow miraculously stay healthy for even half the year? I think that's a steal between Harris, Penny, and Singletary. I mean, Harris, I don't think the Pats make any moves, and they fed him all year. So mid-rounders, I really like some of those names we just tossed out. Is there any other picks, either whether you disagree with those or any other names? I mean, Robert Woods, if he comes back healthy. I loved our James Conner pick. We already talked about him, but any other names you guys see kind of as I scroll through?
We're about to be next.
Yeah. We'll pick something.
Who's on the board, Wolf?
Wentz, Goff, Mayfield. Oof.
Well, we already picked our 2 quarterbacks. Are we sticking with 2?
Yeah, let's stick with.
We might need to take a third just because.
Do we need a running tight end? I guess I don't know.
Yeah, Goff's. I mean,
Gronk
Brevin
gone.
Jordan. I actually don't hate Brevin Jordan. He had a few nice touchdowns this year. We got McKissick. So I'd like Kenyon Drake to maybe go with our stack of.
Ooh, I do like Kenyon Drake still on. I'll do that.
I kind of like Kenyon Drake, especially with I think you posted about this week, CJ. McDaniels peppering the running backs, right? Like that could be intriguing. What do you guys think about Hamler, especially if Rodgers? I know they're saying Rodgers is probably going to stay in Green Bay, but what if he
He's
does
such
go?
a tease.
He
What
is
is
a
wrong
tease.
with him?
Him and Adams are just going to return to Green Bay. It's going to be another all for nothing year.
They're gonna go 12-4. They're gonna get knocked.
We need a
off
backup tight end. I'm gonna go Brevin Jordan, and then we'll figure out the rest.
Why don't we could have cuffed Waller with Foster?
No, we don't want to cuff our tight end. Come on. If Waller gets hurt, we're losing. We're not going to win anything. With Foster Moreau, he's useless. Maybe
he's on the list of guys. You know, we should just make a list of guys next season, like a running list.
Don't talk about.
Well, we don't talk about them by the end of the year, but during the year, we try to talk ourselves into them at some point. You know, I don't know. Foster Moreau could have a big week. Just like probably not.
Yeah.
No, we'll do like the fool's gold, where it's like well, who's that? Who's Jeff Wilson? Like we can't talk about him once next year. I'm not talking about him once.
Every single week, trying to pursue him.
Jay Ajayi.
Yeah. So looking back at our team too here. Alrighty. And so looking at some other picks. So now we're looking at like the later rounds. So we're talking like 10 and beyond. I think Melvin Gordon could easily end up as starting running back. He still looks pretty good. So getting him there. Chase Edmonds, like, again, this is the time of year. Yes, they're all sketchy and up in the air, but any one of those guys, if Connor's gone and Edmonds does re-sign with the Cardinals, suddenly the one game he had without Connor there, if you remember, it came in week 14, the fantasy playoffs, or week 15 on Christmas Day, I believe, actually. 2 touchdowns. Monster Day was the running back 3 that week. So, Edmonds, huge upside for this type of round. I do like taking stabs on these rookies as well. Kenneth Walker, Breece Hall, because we alluded to value holes, right? Like, what if one of them goes to the Bills? So already the Singletary like goes down to the tubes, and one of those guys vaults up, and one of the top offenses in the league could be amazing. What if one of those guys goes to the Cardinals? We keep hyping up whether it's Edmonds, whether it's Connor. What if it's neither, and they get a rookie? Would be a monster. And also Miami. Gaskin's the starter there. They bring in McDaniels, who has coordinated some of the best run games we've seen with the 49ers the last 3 years. Any of those spots get a good rookie or good free agent, and they're going to be a top 25, 30 pick. So that's why I like taking stabs on these Gordons, these Edmonds, and seeing which one might end up being a starter. Any thoughts on any of those guys or any other names you guys are seeing?
I was just looking at – I know we got hurt, but J-Rob going 100 picks after ETN's a bit much.
I think ETN's one of the more over you guys. I'm with you.
Oh, totally.
Like 100 picks after.
Yeah, we can do a whole separate pod on overvalue. Today we'll just focus on the positives, the values, right?
The Jerick McKinnon at 151, I just think it's such a steal.
We're on late round stabs now. I love McKinnon, and I love the guy who went right before him, Carson. Penny's a free agent. Carson was the starter, and over the last 2 years when he's been the starter, he's been a top 15 running back over 70% of the time that he's played.
I hate Carson in general, but at 150, I love him. Yeah.
Why not, right? Yeah, neck injury, extremely sketchy. I actually kind of love this pick by Barry and Brady at 221. What if he does come out of retirement? They're already talking.
What do you guys think? What do you guys think about Brady? What do you think of the sashaying around the town square that he's doing, CJ?
I cannot stand that guy right now. Like as we talked about before, him and Gronk. It wouldn't surprise me if he just like danced his way into like the playoffs. He'll be like week 15. He'll just come into like someone will get hurt. Probably call Brady and come off the couch, win a Super Bowl. I can't stand the guy.
Probably. Our pick's about to be up, so then we'll look at the board, and we already started talking about some of our late round picks.
Jimmy
I love
G.
McKinnon. Here, I don't hate going Guyton if he falls to us as like Mike Williams is potentially gone. He takes over that Mike Williams role as the deep threat. There could be a couple 20 point days in his future. So I think Guyton is very intriguing to me. Zay Jones, who just went, I was going to say we already have Carr. We could keep our Raiders stacks going, but he's gone. So I like Guyton here. And I like taking a stab at another quarterback, whether it's Goff, whether it's Garoppolo, someone who might get us some points. I don't hate this Juwan Jennings kid.
What about Daryl Williams? What about free agent Daryl Williams?
hold on. I'm gonna go lock in Guyton because I really like him as a late round stab. And who are you talking about, Nat?
Well, Daryl Williams is still on the board. He's a free agent, but I like Jimmy G also.
His best case is signing. I like going Jimmy G. Let's get another.
Especially, I like that smoke of him going to the Redskins or whatever they are now.
Yeah, let's
Commanders.
You trying to get us canceled, dude? What's wrong with you?
Yeah, come on, asshole, racist. Jeez. But I think we do need anything on this team. We need quarterback help. So if he's starting for the Commanders with McLaurin with all those weapons,
and then there was another name when you had the draft board up where Curtis Samuel. I'm just imagining Garoppolo there and just feeding Curtis Samuel for.
Yeah, I think Curtis Samuel is one of my favorite late rounds. Let's find where he went.
How long? Go ahead.
Pick 153. Yeah.
Yeah, he's. How long do you think it's going to be realistically before Commanders just kind of rolls off your tongue easily?
The Washington Commanders, I hate it. I think it's.
Stupid. I love the football team.
I actually did too. I wanted him to stick with the football. I get why they changed the name, but I just kind of thought football team was funny.
What about Kendrick Bourne going right after Wilson?
Yeah,
he's probably the Patriots receiver one next year.
No, so he went actually right before. I love Kendrick Bourne right here. I was gonna say, so in terms of highlighting some picks, I think from Carson, McKinnon, don't know much about Pickens. You probably know more CJ as a rookie guy, but I do like the Samuel call and Gus Edwards here. I mean, he injured himself in preseason, so he's had a lot of time to recover. And when him and Dobbins were on the field together, there wasn't a whole big discrepancy. I believe it was like 20 total points between the two. Dobbins is going round 3. Edwards is going 154. I think Edwards is looking like a nice pick right there. As is Daryl Henderson. Like Sony's a free agent, and he in the Super Bowl we saw he was pretty involved. Like he played almost as many snaps as Akers. Like Henderson at 160.
They didn't want anything to do with Sony in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
to do with him. He's a free agent. He's going to be. This is the last pick of the draft. We can kind of take our time here.
I said we can look after, but where did Akers go?
Too high.
Too high for sure. He went like round 3. So I'll pull up so we can kind of see their picture of everything. So I'll look Akers. He went 34 ahead of Gibson. We almost got Gibson at 36. Shit! I want to see the draft board. I hope they let us go back because I wanted to kind of analyze. View full draft. Here we go.
This is what the people at home want to see. Technical difficulties.
Now here we go. Well, the draft finished, so it wasn't technical difficulty, asshole. All right. So we've talked about some of our favorite mid-round picks. We'll have to maybe make a list and make a post about it to summarize it all because we kind of and bouncing all over the place. But in terms of some we did mid-rounds. I'm trying to see if there's anybody else we like skipped over. I mean, I Woods at 81 if he comes back fully healthy. Depending on A-Rob where he lands, like I know how bad he was. I know you guys hated the Hilaire. I mentioned him here when we went Garrett Wilson and James Conner. But with Daryl Williams a free agent, like, would you be shocked if Hilaire has 10 touchdowns next year? Completely shocked?
A little bit.
If he enters,
he looked decent in the playoff. He looked decent when he came back from injury.
I mean, he looked decent. I mean, a lot of this stuff with these running backs, it comes down to staying healthy, right? In 17 games, if you told me Clyde Edwards-Hilaire was going to play 17 football games, 10 touchdowns wouldn't surprise me. But we should take a look at say the starting running back of every football team on week 1 of the season and how many of them, what was the average number of games missed for these guys?
Right.
Then, once you chop that 17 down to 11, then I'd kind of be surprised if he scored 10.
Honestly, what I want to do is take my 2 running backs to the top next year and then get their handcuffs in round 8.
Yeah. I'm all about handcuffing now. I'm pissed we missed out on Madison. And so I was just, as I talked through the Hilaire best case, so Williams leaves and the Hilaire stays healthy, but McKinnon was their pick and better for the playoffs against the Bengals. He started the game. He was looking, he's the pass catcher. So Williams is gone and it is just McKinnon and Hilaire. 70 picks later, McKinnon. I mean, that's one of the best picks of the draft. We talked about Daryl Henderson as a late rounder we like. Isaiah McKenzie's a free agent, and anytime he's been used, he really pops. So that's kind of intriguing. But
I wonder if I wonder what Beasley's contract situation is, and if they just like cut him or whatever. And
he could be a cap casualty. He's under contract next year, but it's actually like at a decent price. And I think there's very little penalty if they cut him, is what I was reading. So if they re-sign McKenzie and cut Beasley, and Sanders is a free agent, right? So Davis again, like we keep talking about Davis, but keep bumping him up. But then McKenzie, if he's the third receiver, that's a pretty electric like three there with Josh Allen. And people talk about Dable being gone. Is that going to really negatively impact it? Well, they promoted their QB coach who Allen almost was like, this is the guy that's really the key to my success. So I love that offense again. Yeah.
Chubb Hubbard at 177, not terrible given the injury risk of McCaffrey.
I mean, he had plenty of top 12 games on volume alone. I like the Khalil Herbert pick, given how good he looked and a new coaching staff. Maybe they go there. I love Byron Pringle. I mean, he really emerged their number 2. Does it stay that way? I don't know. There's a lot of linkings of over the Chiefs. So Pringle, there's a good chance he gets taken over as the number 2. But if he doesn't, 175 is a great price on him, in my opinion.
Antonio Brown at 198.
Why not, right? Free agent, could land as a number 1 somewhere, probably out of the league, but if not, it's a good one. I found myself landing a lot of Allen Lazard on the assumption that Rodgers is back. Adams is probably back, but Rodgers probably won't go back there if Adams is not there. So we can't really even imagine a best case for Lazard like as the number 1 with Rodgers. That wouldn't happen. But even as the number 2 last year, down the stretch, he had 5 of his last 8 games rather, were in the top 20 receivers. So Lazard had some really big games, big play guy. I think that's a great steal. What about him versus MBS who went before him? What are you guys' thoughts on Lazard versus MBS?
I'm always an MBS guy over Lazard. I know.
I agree. I don't really have much of a case for it, but I'm with CJ.
Yeah, I don't even know why. It's just like the big play abilities. I don't know. I think Lazard should have done something by now. I think they both should have done something by now, but I think you could say that about the playoff game. MVS was out, and what did Lazard have? Like 1 target, 2 targets, maybe. It just
with the Packers.
If Rodgers is the quarterback, I don't think he trusts him. I don't know. I just don't really care about either of them, to tell you the truth.
You know who does intrigue me though? Late Keyshawn Vaughn. I mean, hasn't done anything in his NFL career. We get that, but Fournette and Ronald Jones are both free agents this year. So best case scenario for him is both of them are gone, and they just, hey, this was our second rounder not too long ago. Let's see what he has for a year. Even if it's a shitty quarterback, even if it's a shitty situation, he could be a potential starting running back at 184. So I think he's an intriguing name, as is Justin Jackson. I mean, he had a 30-point day in your fantasy playoffs. Something happens to Eckler. I wish we could have had him. I love our picks here, though, of Shepard and Drake. Obviously, we're going to love our own picks for the most part. I don't know how I feel about Osborne. Like, I think that was a little bit of a reach, but I like Shepard a lot. I love Drake for the reason we talked about is McDaniel's next potential James White. He was a PPR stud for 4 or 5 games till he got hurt this year. So I could see him having a big one. Do you guys see any other names? I like Gronk. I like Everett too. I mean, he had a top 12 finish to the year. I don't know. Do you guys see any like really late names? I mean, we're talking picks like 200 to 250. Do you see anything that's like popping up to you?
I mean, as a talent, I really like the Ernest Johnson.
Love that call, Nat. He was, there's one speculation that like Hunt might get moved. So automatically, if he goes to the number 2 role, bam, that could be crazy. But we saw it. That's the type of player this late. Where the hell is he even on this list?
He's 239, I think.
230-9. That guy had multiple top 5 games this year. He has only 2 of them. It doesn't matter. He's in your lineup and he's killing it for you because of the scheme. Like that, betting this late, right here. Holy shit.
220. Right? Actually, we should be ashamed that we didn't take him.
We should be.
I didn't even think of him.
We took Brevin Jordan. Ugh. We should absolutely be ashamed that we didn't take him because that late, like, this is the late rounds here is often when it does pan out to bet on scheme. Darren, is he that good? Maybe not, but he had multiple 25-point days when he had to become the starter. So if something happens to Chubb, something happens to Hunt, does it seem unlikely? Yeah, I guess, but it happened this year. Multiple top 20. I love Ernest Johnson as a late round toss out.
My last one would be James White at 236. There's a lot of potential there.
we're linked up. I was gonna say that's the only other one I wanted to highlight was.
Can you take the best late round stabs? It's covering a few names at the bottom. I can't say.
Oh yeah, let me.
Yeah, there's some Mike. Somebody was it a good Mike or a lousy Mike?
That was Mike Davis. That's
Mike. That was a lousy Mike. Okay.
You can cover the names again.
Yeah, cover it up. No, you don't want to see this.
Yeah, I mean let me see. Yeah. No one honestly like Tom Brady. He's probably the best one there is.
I love that stab. Honestly, like the more you think about it, what if they do coax him out of retirement? Like that's an insane.
That was like us doing like the Deshaun Watson thing. And like I picked Taysom Hill at the end of a lot of rounds too last year.
There's as good of a chance that Brady plays next year as Deshaun Watson, and Watson went pick 100. If either one of them's on the field, they're a top 12 quarterback. So, yeah, I think that's Brady's an insane pick right there. That kind of woke me up to that. I'm gonna have to write him down, but I agree now. It only was 3 or 4 games, but White was getting peppered by Mac Jones.
That was what ended my season in my league. Is I White going out like in the first quarter of a game and being out for the year. I was so confident in him. As a backup in case McCaffrey got hurt or something like that. It really killed me.
Yeah. I think he's a great name to toss out here. He's a free agent, but James White's not playing anywhere else. Like, is he? There's no way he's going to go sign somewhere else. He's either
he was on pace for like 90 targets. I think he'll definitely stay. He probably only has another 2 or 3 years left in him.
Yeah. I think to Ernest, I think James White, both great names. I actually love this pick here. Blake Jarwin. We have, what's his name? Dalton Schultz obviously had an insane year. He's a free agent, though. So in the off chance he leaves and they don't have anyone else, Blake Jarwin will step right into that role that made Schultz. I don't think Schultz is all that special. I think he was just in a great offense that gave him some solid usage. Blake Jarwin's a better athlete. A year off of that surgery, a year healthier. If he becomes the Dallas Cowboys starting tight end at pick 232, I don't know. I don't hate that one. Am I nuts?
You're not nuts, but I think there's more exciting picks that we've already alluded to in these last couple rounds.
I also do. I know he sucked in the Super Bowl, and we talked about, but as a free agent, Sony Michel, when he was a starter, when he got meaningful volume, he looked really good. If there's again, we're talking about off chances. He picks 200, but if he goes as a starter somewhere, Sony Michel could have, even if he's a backup, but then ends up starting in certain games. We've seen 25. He was the running back 4 of the fantasy playoffs. Like. That's another guy.
He's still only like 25 years old too.
He's young. He showed better pass catching ability than people gave him.
He's more explosive than he was in New England.
Yeah, so I think he's another name to add to this late round list. I don't know if either of you have been taking notes while we talk here. I'll try to look at the draft board, maybe circle some of the ones, and we'll write them down. I think there's a lot of good names to shout out here. Zay Jones actually had a really good end of the year too, so he's one last name. Whenever he gets used, he seems to do well.
Hopefully Nelson Aguilar is cut. I can't stand him.
Yeah, right. I'm sick of his fucking ass.
Well, look at you rekindling my interest kind of in fantasy drafts in mid-February.
Yeah, talk about picks 223.
I'm sitting here telling you who I think's a steal in 19th and 20th round, and we're kind of on the same page.
Wow. We are. We're very linked up.
It's a sickness.
Hey, Jamal Williams, one of the better handcuffs.
Hey, not bad at all. We got not a ton of comments as usual in the offseason, but a few people coming in to
just the real sickos.
The real sickos.
Right. Giuseppe says, fellas, hope all is well. Tunes got a buddy of mine to join up on Underdog with promo code RSJ, and he loves it. Thanks, Tunes. Yeah. If you use the code RSJ, Underdog will give you a 100% deposit match. Do it. It's a lot of fun, and you can make some real money.
Yeah, we were a little rusty tonight. We didn't really do our whole beg for likes, our whole sponsorship stuff. But
it's like standing there on the street, like panhandling, and there's nobody on the street.
Right. Exactly.
So it's like there's no one walking by you, so you're not holding the cup out.
It's like 15 degrees outside. It's like during COVID. Everyone's in there.
Right. Exactly. I'm just picturing like a snow plow driving by us, and like slush splashing on us as we're just like shaking with our can. Please.
This street corner used to be super busy.
God. We got Kevin Rice. We got all the legends. Thank you, Tunes.
What's up, Kevin?
Someone to sign
Anthony
up.
Fellas. Okay, here's an actual question. Chase or Justin Jefferson, full PPR? Actually, if you're watching this episode, there's a pretty good rant on Chase by the Wolf of Rotor Street himself. I'm assuming you would take Jefferson.
Actually, can you bring up both? Like, put the question at the bottom, and then I do want to see the top, like where Akers went for some reason.
Do you want me to pull up the draft here?
Yeah.
All righty. So, and what do you want me to show from here, from this question?
Where like Akers, Justin Jefferson, like that area.
Akers.
All right, so we'll scroll.
Chase.
So yeah, where did Akers enter this conversation?
No, because I asked it earlier. I completely forgot about it.
Yeah, but he answered you. I just don't remember what he said. It was 34. Akers went 34. Jefferson went 7. Chase went 5.
So my answer is pretty easily Justin Jefferson. You look at, again, Kevin O'Connell now becoming that head coach. Who was he with before? Cooper Kupp, the Rams. What a great season he had. Again, when I make these type of connections, I obviously know it's not like a 1-for-1 slide and Jefferson's going to be the Cooper Kupp and succeed. Jefferson's just every bit as good as Kupp, in my opinion, though. And if Kevin O'Connell has seen how it worked with Kupp, wouldn't be shocked at all if he does that with Jefferson. Even if we erase that, just assume Jefferson does what he did this year. Aren't we like, if Chase does what Jefferson did this year, wouldn't we be very happy with him as a sophomore if he takes that type of leap? I think where Jefferson's getting, or Chase rather, is getting drafted is people are assuming like a historic Cooper Kupp style season.
What is Cooper Kupp going to have to do before people are always like, well, so-and-so, I mean, he's as good as Cooper Kupp. What would Kupp have to do for people to shut the fuck up about that? Exactly.
Nothing.
Right.
Nothing. I do, and I don't mean that as disrespect to Kupp. It's more, I think Jefferson's as good, and maybe Jefferson's insane to me. I think Chase is good. Like Kupp is great. They just used him. That scheme was insane. How wide open he was so many times. Yes, that's a product of his talent. But I also think that rapport with Stafford, like everything, it was the perfect storm for Kupp. And I think that's all in place for him to do it again next year. None of it's gone other than O'Connell. But I think McVay's really the one calling the plays.
I think a big thing with Chase is that like he's cool.
Yeah,
he's cool.
Honestly.
He's trending.
He does like sick end zone dances. He's like fast. Right. Game breaks. He puts up like random 200-yard games. It's like that. He's just like in right now.
He's definitely
the cooler Justin Jefferson. They're like the same thing but cooler.
He's definitely
Jefferson does a great gritty. I love Jefferson. Yeah. I'd rather have. I know we were kind of ranting here. I'd rather have Jefferson. I'd rather have Tyreek. I'd probably not Diggs. I might go Chase over Diggs, but Adams. I'd rather have Adams.
What about Debo? Would you rather have Debo or Chase?
That is so tough. Like, gun to my head, I think I take Chase just because of all the factors CJ's saying, like the sex appeal. But Debo has plenty of it too. Like, is there anybody more fun?
Debo picking up Debo at the bar? Come on.
Oh, Debo would be so fun to pick up at the bar. Yeah, he'd be such a spark plug. So versatile. Does every position well.
Every position well.
He's thick too. He's like a 225.
He's a thick boy.
He's a thick guy. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But I go Jefferson myself. What about you guys? Jefferson versus Chase?
Jefferson.
I go Jefferson. He just seems more like consistent, it seems.
The Chase hype is out of control, in my opinion. I do love the player, but I think he is the single most. I've done a few of these drafts. He's gone top 6 every single time. Just insane to me. Like, I think that is way over the top.
Don't you think?
I had him last year and I didn't love him. Like well, it's because I didn't make the playoffs, so it was useless to me in the playoffs. So like what he did, it didn't matter. But like my regular season, it wasn't that great.
Exactly. I had him and Higgins, and every single week it was like, which one do I play? Which one do I play? And I always played the wrong one because I usually went with Chase. So
right,
yeah, they get great offensive line help and all that. Like certainly he has the talent. We saw the leap Jefferson took. He was a great rookie. He took another step forward this year. Chase will take a step forward. Like we can't keep looking at his last year's stats and being like, look how inconsistent it was. But there are going to be days where Higgins has better games than him.
Well, Higgins is really good. Let's not. Higgins isn't just some guy. He's really good. He would 100%. Be number one on most teams, I think, or on a lot of teams, certainly.
Absolutely. Right. No, so I'm with you guys. I think we all agree Chase is a little bit overvalued, no matter how great.
What about Gibson going 35?
One of the best picks of this draft.
No, but then like what before him, like the Montgomery, Saquon, Akers, then Gibson.
Do you agree? You hate Gibson?
No, I would flip that and go like Gibson, Montgomery.
Mm-hmm.
I would have Gibson over every single player that went in the third round. I would have Gibson over Metcalf, over Waddle.
Yeah, maybe. I like Gibson end of the second round, or very, very beginning of the third. I agree.
He had as many 20-point games as Jonathan Taylor over the second half of the year.
Denny Jennings says, "You draft like me when I'm drunk. Time's up." He was on us when we drafted Waller. Yeah. Okay, Denny.
Yeah.
we deserve that. Also, I was thinking as far as players you're picking up at the bar, Cooper Kupp is like someone you pick up at the bar and he's nice looking, like definitely nice looking, not like the best looking you've ever seen or anything.
Went to
like
a good school.
Nice
probably.
looking, but does everything so well. Everything. Like everything.
Oh yeah. Like
everything.
Rocks your world that night, makes you the best breakfast you've ever had in the morning.
Yes.
You put a ring on Cooper Kupp.
Drives
the one you know.
Drives
like
away
goes
in a Mercedes and like goes to see your parents and
goes and like gets you groceries and like fills them up and stuff and just an absolute animal in the sack and then makes you feel good afterwards. Like
right, exactly.
Just does everything well. All the intangibles.
You want a kid with them. Cooper Kupp. Everything about that. Yeah.
If like your ex calls, like you'll pick up and just like tell him no that he's not talking to you. Like, run interference. Dave says, "Hey guys, who's ready for the NFL Combine?"
Oh yeah. It
sure.
gives us
Why not?
Just random data. Let's watch some men run around.
Blake Barrington. Hey, now last podcast, this guy's name was Ford Dickerson.
Ford Dickerson's such a good name.
I know. Blake Barrington's not bad.
The bot names are great. Blake
I know.
Barrington.
Seriously, we
Ford
should just
Dickerson.
start jotting down all the best.
We were one letter away from like a funny comment too.
Yep.
Yeah, come today.
Dan Glander, last but not least, Chase worth keeping for a late second or pay nothing for Gainwell, keeper league, half-point PPR.
I'm going Chase all day.
Of course.
What's Gainwell gonna fucking do for you? Yeah, absolutely, Dan. You got to keep Chase.
You can pay nothing for Gainwell, which is right around what you would pay for him anyway.
Exactly. That's what you're paying anyways. Chase will probably go mid to late first, so you're gaining some good value there. And if he blows up and has a historic season, which is well within the realm of possibility. I mean, you're seeing here, Glander, he's going top 6 in every draft. I think absolutely late second for Chase. No.
Right. We there was plenty of Chase hate from us here, but no, you take Chase there.
I have him 10 overall because I'm like hating on him at 5, but
you're hating on him because it's gotten a little out of control. But we love Chase. Let's be honest.
We really do. It's just who he's going. It's more the opportunity class. The guys he's going above to me seem a little insane. That's all I'm getting at.
That's fair.
Awesome. Well, that was a fun draft. That was a good time. Talked about some values. I think maybe next week we do one and talk about all the picks we hate. Just to keep doing drafts. I love it. Darren Waller. We had such a good draft going until then.
We should see if like Denny or someone wants to come on to a draft.
Glander says our Chase hate had him laughing.
Good Glander. We love him though. It's not that we hate him, but we actually obviously love him, Glander.
It's mid-February. We got to have some hot takes. We got to, it's hard getting people's asses in the seats.
Yeah, we need to get some clicks on Instagram.
Is it not like Glander, the name of someone in Superbad? Like the guy like eating lunch with like it's Glansberg, right? Steven Glansberg. You know what
I don't know, but I got to say I love Superbad. We should do a
one of the
Netflix party watching a Superbad at some point. Yeah. Except come up with a better title for the show. Yeah. We should. What would a good title for a rip-off rewatchable show be? We should come up with that because that's something I really want to do.
Would you talk about like melting into the couch or something like that?
That was a long time. It was a long time ago. That was when me and Nate were going to do a show.
Yeah.
Then we never heard from Nate again.
Oh, this is an intriguing addition. I could keep Kupp for 111. I mean, I have him at 2 overall.
Yeah.
Is it Chase?
I'd probably keep. It'd be Chase at.
Is it between those like one or the other, or is it like
23 or something? 2.
Imagine if he could keep both and goes into his draft with Kupp and Chase. That'd be fucking sexy. If it's one or the other, though, I think
I would take Chase in the second.
I might go Kupp late.
If we're
talking about keeper league, you think about there's probably a decent amount of first round picks off the board that like in your typical first round would be there. Oh, so it's between both. Oh, that's tough. I think I'm going Kupp though. I know the value on Chase is nicer, but I don't know. Kupp at 111 is just fucking.
Kupp will make you breakfast.
Kupp will make you breakfast. He'll be there. Chase will.
Chase is like no. Chase puts his phone down upside down because there's 85 texts going off. Like
that is great. Yes, that's a great call. That's a great call.
Yeah, he's going right to somebody else right when he leaves your door.
By the way, you're the second one of the day.
Or even lower. Yeah. By the way, Kupp will make you breakfast. Great shirt.
Glander, I want breakfast. Yeah, I want breakfast too, Glander.
Kupp will make you breakfast. Come on, man. That's a great shirt.
Yeah,
he was in the Breakfast Club.
He was exactly everything about him. Kupp will make you breakfast.
Jamar has his phone face down on the bedside table.
Thing just buzzing from like midnight to like 4
Right, he's like, what? No, I don't hear anything. What are you talking about? Go back to bed.
That's nobody. Don't worry about that.
That's
none of your business.
That's my grandmother.
Oh God. Good stuff, boys. Good stuff. That was a fun draft. Hopefully there was some value. I know it was pockets of random banter in between, like actually talking about the values, but
the banter keeps it going, man.
The banter's the best. I know. I agree. So good stuff. We should do this like whether it's the weekly pod or not. We should at least do a draft like once a week and just draft and shoot the shit. I think people will come.
I think it's not a bad idea for a pod, honestly.
Yeah,
or at least a live stream. I mean, it's good stuff. Why not? What else are we doing?
We can do the backyard pick next week.
Yeah, we'll do exactly the backyard ball, quarterbacks and receivers only. That'd be fun. Sweet. Alrighty, guys. Well, thanks again for anybody that whether you were live with us or if you weren't and caught the replay and you're still somehow here. Awesome. Thank you so much. That thumbs up does help us continue to grow. Much appreciated. As do subs. We're already over 2K. Love that. But the more, the merrier. You can find me at RotoStreetWolf. I'll openly admit I've not been all that active on Twitter lately. I took a little hiatus. I'm going to get back and going. School vacation coming, so I can definitely get it going again. But you can find all our stuff at rotostreetjournal.com, RotoST Journal on Twitter, Roto Street Journal on Facebook and Instagram, and the Fantasy Football Dive. If you prefer podcasts or need to just listen in one day, you can find all this content in audio form at the Fantasy Football Dive, iTunes, Spotify, wherever you listen. It will be there for you. Thank you guys so much. Anything I forgot to promote, CJ or Truth?
Nah, you pumped it all up good.
I'm a robot. I got it all down. In a world filled with fantasy sheep, guys. Thanks again so much for being here. Be that wolf. Later.
Later.
See ya.